tú toma mi tarjeta muchas veces, no solo una vez, y toma dinero y no dice nada a mí.
Oh my gosh, this is starting to get very messy. Danielle is accusing Yohan of stealing money. She's demanding that he leaves their home, but Yohan couldn't care less. He feels like Danielle owes him. He feels entitled to that money. And now he's refusing to leave until she pays him.
Paga el banco.
Get out of my house. Get out of my house. You are out of your mind, and I don't want you here anymore. Do you understand that? I don't want you here.
Yo te dije que tú quieres, que tú necesitas.
Allegations of theft, screaming at your partner to leave the house. This is fast approaching the point of no return. But before we dive into this mess, let's just rewind to the start. So we left Danielle and Yohan in the last episode after a life coaching session. Now, during their coaching, it became very clear that Yohan was under the impression that Danielle promised him a work-free life. But that's something that Danielle is strenuously denying. So now, when we join them in this episode, we learn that Yohan's been forced to get a job. And he's very unhappy about that. Look, we've seen Yohan's entire character change quite rapidly this season. He's become quite cold and calculating. And now, according to Danielle, he's sunk to new lows. He's started to steal from her.
I opened up my bank account and I found this one charge. It was $40.
Danielle explains that there was one unexplained ATM withdrawal of $40, and because of that, she decided to go back and look a little further. And it was at that point she discovered numerous similar withdrawals. Now, Danielle immediately points the finger at Yohan. She accuses him of being a thief, but Yohan denies it. But the problem is, Yohan has no leg to stand on. You see, Danielle has evidence.
I have to go to the bank and ask them for a video of who took money out of my account. And then finally he's like, yeah, fine. And just bangs the table and was super angry.
When confronted with the evidence, Yohan became angry. And it's becoming more and more obvious that he's given up on this facade, this act of happy-go-lucky Yohan. That guy doesn't exist anymore. Instead, he's filled with resentment. He was promised a certain standard of living, and even though Danielle denies it, I think we can all see that she filled his head with false promises. Promises she hasn't been able to keep. So now, Yohan's acting like a brat.
Yo tomé un dinero de su tarjeta sin decírselo, que yo soy un ladrón, somos una pareja, yo soy su esposo.
Yohan's just acting like this is nothing, it's not a big issue. In his eyes, he's entitled to the money because he's her husband. But something doesn't quite add up. Like, if Yohan really thought that what he was doing was okay, then why did he lie about it when Danielle confronted him? Why did he choose to deny it until he was literally shown the proof?
Ella muchas veces dejaba la tarjeta arriba de la mesa. Cogí la tarjeta, como sabía el código, y retiré 2,000 pesos. Yo creo en el matrimonio. Lo que es mío es tuyo.
What was that phrase that Danielle's friends were warning her about? Sanky Panky. Yeah, it's starting to feel like Yohan is openly being a Sanky Panky now.
A Sanky Panky is a man who works at a resort and is looking for tourists to come and, provide them with money and goods and visas and take care of them.
Look, we know that when they first met, Yohan was working at the hotel that Danielle stayed at. We saw his living conditions. We saw her throw money around to try and impress him. Why? Well, her motivation was pretty clear. She wanted an attractive man in her bed, and she got that. Only she then began, bit by bit, to go back on her promises. Like moving to America, for example. And now, a work-free life. So Yohan's been left feeling like he's been sold a lie. Which might explain why he has such a tough time accepting Danielle talking about honesty.
Es mucho importante para mí, yo tengo una pareja con honestidad, con valor. Y cuando yo pregunto, Tú dices no. Eso es mi problema.
It's ironic that Danielle wants a relationship with honesty when she herself started the relationship with lies. It's hard to take her seriously when she preaches about honesty, when she was laughing and joking about the fact that she lied about Yohan's visa application. Look, the truth is, it's very easy to pick Danielle apart. She has a lot of flaws. But today, this issue isn't about Danielle. This is about Yohan now. Danielle claims that she's not mad about the money. What she's angry about is that Yohan lied to her. But he doesn't seem to get the point.
Tú me quieres como humillar por 4,000 pesos que yo te tomé de tu tarjeta sin permiso.
No, de tu mentire.
What's with Yohan's attitude here? He's the one in the wrong, but he's using some very interesting language. He sees this as Danielle trying to humiliate him. It's clear that his pride is hurt, but it's obvious he's learnt a thing or two from Danielle, particularly when it comes to gaslighting, because he now tries to flip this conversation to make Danielle look bad. The problem is, whilst Yohan still tries to maintain that he only took 4,000 pesos, Danielle is more than happy to fact-check him.
Es 14, es 15, es 18, es 21. Tú dices yo voy a este banco cada día?
It goes on, and as Danielle counts more and more withdrawals on her account, Yohan's story keeps changing. Was it just once and 2,000 pesos? Oh wait, now it's 3 times and 4,000 pesos. Like, he just keeps lying until he gets caught out, and then he changes his story and lies again. He's twisting things so much that Danielle even begins to doubt herself.
This is a nightmare. Mismo día.
Sí, tú vas a buscar ahora todo lo que tú has sacado y me lo vas a poner a mí.
Yo quiero yo sé.
So despite being caught out, Yohan is trying to make us believe that Danielle is just counting her own withdrawals. Now, all told, across all withdrawals, Yohan took about $160 in total. But to be honest, the amount isn't what's important here. What if he hadn't got caught? Would he have just continued to withdraw his wife's money without her knowledge? Those 1 or 2 withdrawals here and there can fast add up. Over time, that could so easily have turned into much more significant sums. But Yohan now tries to save face by claiming he desperately needed the money.
El día que te fuiste para retiro y el otro día porque no tenía dinero aquí para comer.
Like, are you kidding me? You didn't because you had no food in the house.
Once again, Yohan is caught in a lie. Danielle calls him out. Their fridge and their freezer is full of food. There's just no way that that's the reason for him taking her money. But Yohan's pride is hurt. He's not having it. His attitude is in full swing, and he sarcastically owns up to what he's done. But he does it in such a way that he tries to make it look ridiculous that Danielle thinks he's in the wrong.
Yo soy un ladronazo porque le cogí 4,000 pesos a mi esposa. Cuando, si yo se lo hubiera pedido, ella no me lo da, okay.
Sorry, Yohan, but saying it sarcastically doesn't change the fact that that is exactly what you are. Taking something from someone behind their back without their permission is theft. And what makes this so much worse is you seem to not have any problem with what you've done. There's no remorse, there's no accountability, and without that, there's no way that Danielle can trust him again. Now, as far as Yohan's concerned, Danielle is a selfish person. He says that she only ever thinks about herself, and he even has some interesting examples to support this claim.
Tú no me mantienes a mí. Yo compro mi comida. Aquí yo pago renta, aquí yo pago luz. Entonces no te llenes la boca diciendo que tú haces todo por mí.
Danielle constantly says that she wants an equal partner. So why then did she marry a poor man from the DR? Look, given their respective earning power, these two splitting the bills 50-50 isn't equal. It's a bit like asking them both to look over a 6-foot wall. For one, it's no problem, but for the other, it's impossible without assistance. And that's precisely the point. Equality doesn't always mean an even split. But Danielle can't see that.
Primer del mes, próximo mes. Yo necesito medio dinero por todas las cosas en la casa. Y tú no quieres pagar eso, tú necesitas vivir en la casa de tu mamá.
What Danielle's trying to do here is to prove a point. She's trying to show Yohan that yes, while he pays half the rent and he splits the bills, she covers everything else in their lives. So as far as she's concerned, in her eyes, he has no right claiming she's selfish, claiming that she doesn't provide for him. But it's just too late. Yohan has shut down, and he tells Danielle with literally zero emotion that she is the one who needs to pay him.
El problema es, no voy a ir para mi casa con la mano limpia. Tú quieres que yo te deje el apartamento, tú me das el dinero que yo invertí aquí.
Pero yo pagar por este apartamento también.
Sorry, is Yohan asking to be reimbursed? What the actual f***? The way he said that, the cold way he said, I'm not going back to my house empty-handed, is terrifying. It's official. Both of these two have been conning each other in this relationship. But now, they're both sick of acting. They're dropping their facades. And for Yohan, that means he's not leaving this apartment until he has something to show for all the time that he invested into Danielle.
You have resources. You need to use them, or you need to find another American wife, one who is codependent. There are so many. I can refer you out.
That idea of Danielle having this contact list of codependent friends who she can pass Yohan on to is quite entertaining. It makes you question the company that she keeps. But that doesn't change the fact that from Yohan's perspective, this lady, his wife, turned out to be the worst lady in his resort to target. He's ended up married to the one lady who has no money, the one that's massively in debt. And now he's mad, and he wants what he feels is owed to him.
En mi casa yo estaba bien, no tenía deuda.
So go home!
Dame mi dinero.
Go home!
Y me voy.
I'm not giving you money!
Estoy hablando del que yo gasté aquí.
This is starting to feel like a shakedown. And it's jarring to watch Yohan so brazenly attempt to extort Danielle on TV like this. Like, what world does he live in where he believes he should be reimbursed? The truth is, in Danielle and Yohan's entire relationship, money has been a huge issue. Danielle puts on this act like money isn't important to her, but we've all seen that it rules her life. She's obsessed with it. She's constantly nagging Yohan about it. In fact, money is what caused her to leave New York in the first place. It's money that motivates her to stay in the DR. And ultimately, it's money that's going to ruin this marriage.
Paga el banco.
Get out of my house. You are out of your mind, and I don't want you here anymore. Do you understand that? I don't want you here.
Yo te dije que tú quieres, que tú necesitas.
There's just no way to excuse or defend Yohan's actions here. If you want me to leave, go to the bank and pay me is as clear as it's ever gonna get. He's showing all his cards. He's making it absolutely clear what his motivation is. But isn't it also interesting to see just how quickly Danielle reverted to get out of my house? Doesn't Yohan have just as much right as her? Didn't she admit that they'd been splitting the rent and the bills equally? Danielle's always flexed her financial muscle. She's always tried to hold that against Yohan. But this whole dynamic, this whole yours and mine mentality, the way she keeps score, keeps track of what she's paid for so that she can throw it back in Yohan's face, is absolutely not the way a healthy marriage should work.
I never thought that Yohan would be the kind of person that wouldn't want to contribute equally. I believed that he didn't contribute because he couldn't.
Really, Danielle? Really? You never expected this hot, younger guy from a poor country could possibly be into this marriage for the wrong reasons? Are you serious? Do you really expect us to believe that? For as bad as Yohan looks, Danielle certainly isn't innocent either. But the truth is, both of these guys have now shown their true face. And it's very difficult to see how this marriage can survive after this.